of violent, abusive, or aggressive behavior in a relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over a spouse or partner. Did you know that during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a sharp increase in domestic violent crimes? The amount of phone calls to the police and domestic violence hotlines increased greatly during the pandemic. There are different types of domestic violence. Physical abuse, which we know is pushing, hitting, choking, slapping, threatening you with a weapon, denying you help when you're sick, locking you in or out of your house. Economic abuse, controlling all the money, refusing to give you money for necessary items, interfering with or preventing your opportunities for education or job training, interfering with your work performance, harassing you, coming to your job repeatedly, giving you phone calls repeatedly, or showing up unannounced. There's also sexual abuse. Sexual abuse occurs when it is forced or unwanted. Psychological abuse, which is verbal or nonverbal. This is the name calling. You're fat, you're ugly. Nobody will want you, you're worthless. Constantly criticizing and humiliating you. Threatening to take your children or even threatening your family. They can ignore your feelings and even threaten to kill your pets. According to the Georgia Commission on Family Violence, 1 in 5 women experience severe physical violence at some point in their lives. And what are some of these behaviors of a person suffering from domestic violence? Making excuses for injuries. You know, like, girl, what happened? How'd you get that black eye? Oh, girl, I just walked into a door. You know, I'm so clumsy. Personality changes like low self-esteem in someone who's normally very confident. Constantly checking in with their partner. Oh, girl, wait, I gotta go call him. I gotta call him and let him know where I'm at. Skipping work, school, or social outings for no apparent reason. Wearing clothes that don't fit the season. You know, those long sleeve clothes you wear when it's 95 degrees outside to hide those bruises, and wearing those turtlenecks in 95-degree weather to hide those choke marks. Some signs, though, are not as obvious as you might think, because domestic violence is really about controlling someone's mind and emotions as much as the physicality of it. Usual physical abuse isn't what comes first. The abuse can kind of creep up on you. You know, a name calling here, a name call there, and then separating you and isolating you from your family, your friends. And then usually the violence gets worse once they keep you isolated. So what happens is by then, you have nowhere to go, you have nowhere to turn to, so you feel trapped. Let me ask you a quick question. Can men suffer from domestic violence? Amen. Yes, 1 in 7 men have experienced severe physical violence at some point in their lives. Deacon Hines shared a story with me of a guy that he served in the military with, who was being abused by his wife on a regular basis. Men tend to keep their situation, though, a secret, where only 20% of men ever come forward to report it. This is because of embarrassment or fear of no one believing them. And this is a stigma that we must fight against, because men can be victims too. Let me ask you another question. Do teenagers suffer from domestic violence? Oh, yes, they do. 1 in 3 teens experience dating violence. 1 in 3. 1 in 3, y'all, that's pretty bad. Most victims who are killed by their significant other over the last 10 years in Georgia, they began their relationships with their abusers while they were the ages of 13 to 24. Would you know if your teenager was being abused? How would you know? There'd be a sudden change in clothes or makeup, bruises or scratches, failing grades, skipping school, dropping out of school, avoiding friends, a sudden change in their personality or their mood, becoming anxious, depressed, secretive, changes in their eating or sleeping habits, using alcohol and drugs, emotional outbursts and crying fits. So what can we do? What can we do if we know someone suffers from domestic violence? The first thing we can do is pray for them and pray with them and pray often, because prayer changes things. Make time for them. Let them know that you're available for them. Listen to what they have to say without judgment. Talk to them in private and keep what they say confidential. Talk to them in private. Keep what they say confidential. Let them know why you are concerned. Be specific. If you saw some